Hey, what's going on, chat? Welcome to the stream. We haven't live streamed in a long time, so we've got a few admin points to cover before we get into it. And yeah, if you do anything today, smash that like button, and we're going to get into a few things today. We're going to do a map study of two different maps, one of which is updated a little bit later than the other map, but it's got a little bit more information in terms of live news coverage, or should I say recent news coverage. And the other map we can use for strategic value, because I can actually use a bit of software on the computer to be able to mark up different things for strategy and stuff. And then we're going to go through the Russian offensive campaign assessment. And yeah, that's got some pretty good information on it. Tells a massive story in terms of how Russia is doing on the ground and how they may actually do in the coming weeks and months based on one major thing: strength of numbers. Have they actually got the troops? So we're going to get into that today. The live streams are a bit more relaxed than the actual videos, because obviously we don't edit these at all. So yeah, grab a coffee, grab a beer, whatever you want. And any questions in the chat, let me know down below. Obviously the super chats will take precedent over the normal questions, but I'll try to answer everything anyway. But if you do want to help me out, help the channel out, obviously this is my job, then a super chat is the way to do that on these videos, but no one's obliged to do that at all. Other point of admin, if you want to become a member, the link's in the description as well. I've pinned it to the chat, or if you press the join button, you're more than welcome, guys. But again, no one's obliged to become one, but it'd be great to have you on board. How many we got? 90 concurrent viewers in the chat. I've got my studio stuff on the left hand monitor, guys, so if I look over that way, it's because I'm looking at the stats. If I'm looking this way, it's because I'm looking at your questions, and this way it's because I'm looking at the screen in which we're going to be using for our information. But that's that. How's everyone doing? Let me know in the chat. How are you doing, man? Long time since we've done this. This is something that I want to get off my chest as well, because I feel as if there's a little bit of a need to. I don't like to be I don't like people feeling as if I'm stepping on other people's toes in terms of these updates, but I'm going to put this out there. If you look back on my channel, all right, way back to the second day of this actually happening, I was one of the first YouTubers out there covering this war in this format with these maps. So before anyone starts to get a little bit of a sad on about doing this and he's doing that and he's copying, I was one of the first guys to do it. I just stopped doing it for a couple of months because I went abroad to Mauritius. So yeah, I'm just going to nip that in the bud. I'm one of the first ones who started this shit. So I'm not having anyone say that, yeah, you're copying this one, that one. I was one of the very first guys to do this stuff. So if you're brand new to the channel, have a look back 5-6 months ago. You'll see me actually. I was doing this. All right. This was what I was doing. Rai says, "Yeah, you are original. Exactly. That's." I just wanted to say that because, and I've been reading. I'm a fan of pretty much all of the top guys doing the coverage on these channels. Admittedly, a lot of them are way better than me at this stuff. Okay. I'm not a professor in war history. I'm not a, I'm not, the only thing I was professional at is being a Marine, okay? Everything else, I'm just enjoying myself and giving you the updates. But I'm a fan of other YouTubers. But I've been reading some of the comments on this, and hey, this one's copying this one. Listen, guys, we're all on here to give you updates. We give a different take on it based on our professional experience. You know, my experience is I'm a former commando in the Royal Marines. That doesn't make me a strategic expert on the military at all. It's my understanding of things from my level, and my level was as a Marine. All right, not an officer, not a colonel, not an engineer, not a pilot or any of those things. I'm just a normal guy doing this, and a lot of people tend to like what I have to say. But yeah, just to clarify, you look back on my channel 5-6 months ago, I was covering this shit before a lot of people were. So yeah, not having any negative comments. So please, troops, we're full of positivity here. Smash that like button if you don't mind. Let's get to 100 likes. We've got 169 concurrent viewers in the chat. I'm sure we can get to 100 likes just off pressing. Literally just got to press it, guys. But what we got in the chat anyway, we've got a few things to cover. Those 3 things. If you're brand new to the stream, you've just tuned in, then listen back. But we've got 3 things that we're going to cover today. Dean says, "Don't listen to those assholes. You're awesome." Thank you, man. It doesn't bother me at all. Like I say, I'm a fan of most of the channels on which it's not just me, there's people commenting about other guys, and then if you look at the other guys, they've actually been doing this a long time as well. It just so happens that the algorithm on YouTube might have pushed their content your way recently, but if you look back, most of the guys who've been covering it recently, they were covering it months ago. We just didn't get an opportunity to see it. You know what I mean? But the reason most of the guys who are getting the big views on the channel, it's because they're bloody good, okay? There's a few guys who I'm a massive fan of. A massive fan of Operator Starsky. Fantastic guy. I'm actually on a podcast with him tomorrow. He's got me on his show. So make sure you tune into Starsky's channel tomorrow. My second aim post that is to probably get him on this channel and do the same thing, you know, and share the love. But it's all about sharing the love, guys. But I really want to get in touch with Dennis with Dennis. I think he's a great Ukraine coverage YouTuber. I want to get in contact with him because he's one of my favorites. I actually like the way he covers the content on this war. It would be great to speak to him and maybe get him on the channel. Not sure if he's interested. He hasn't responded to my emails and stuff, so I'll take that as a no at this point. But yeah, he's another fantastic guy. Go support his channel, guys, as well. And who else is there? Combat Veteran React. He's another good. He's an American guy. I like his perspective. He's one of the only American dudes that I've been watching recently who covers the war from. You know, he's got first-hand combat experience and quite a bit of it by the sounds of it. So I like listening to his take on things as well, guys. But that's that. Levi Bryant says, what did he say? Man, I wish my hometown wasn't a shithole. Well, you could be living, you know, in a literal war zone now. Let's get those likes up. 228 viewers in the chat. Let's get we deserve 100 likes before getting into this, right? 100 likes and we'll get straight into the other screen, guys. Come on, let's go. In fact, no, let's just do it now. Boom. Okay. So this is Deep State map. I like this one because you can change it slightly. You can change some of the information on here. You can backdate the map. Let's just go back. Let's go back to before the counteroffensive. When was that? So let's just go back to the 7th. I don't know what the official day was, but the 7th, we go up to Kupiansk. If I'm pronouncing that right, I get told off a lot because I'm not Ukrainian and I can't pronounce these words. I can barely pronounce my own words, and I'm English, and many people would say that I speak English quite poorly. So forgive me for the bad pronunciation. But if we look just before the counteroffensive, there, massive chunk of land, east and southeast of Kharkiv, I believe it's pronounced. Humongous bit of land. Let's look at. Let's actually measure this bad boy out because this is something we haven't done. So let's just roughly, as the crow flies, I think it's down this way, the Oskil Reservoir, and let's just. Oh, we need to reverse that one. How do we take that one off? Let's do that again. Roughly speaking, how much ground have they actually taken back, roughly speaking? Okay, so around it's like, 510, roughly speaking, kilometers. A lot of land, that, guys. Obviously, we've missed a few bits out there. But this was the task at hand way before the counteroffensive took place. Now, if you were to say to me, the Ukrainians are going to mass together their troops and smash a massive counteroffensive east of Kharkiv and take all of this land here in the manner in which they did, I guarantee even the people who are for Ukraine right now, and I'm one of those people, would have went, nah, that's highly unlikely. You've got the Oskil Reservoir there as well, which is a feature in itself, to be able to push troops back, defend from those positions. This type of warfare is pretty tough, guys, but it worked. They took over, they pushed the Russians back so ferociously and intensely that many of the Russians actually left their kit and equipment behind. So that tells you just how bloody much momentum they had. and how much will and desire they had to be able to push to this point as well. Because if we fast forward, and we're not looking at months here, we see the counteroffensive start just northeast of Huzarivka, I believe it is. Just looks like it's a built-up woody area. It looks like woodland, fighting in wood blocks and forests type situation. So Fibwa, or Fiwaf, sorry, as we would say in the Marines. And then the land they took just slightly north of that. And then there was a massive push. All of this land here within a day or two was taken over massively. Granted, these are just fields here and little towns, little built-up towns. But these towns should have been heavily defended. Should have been, the Russians should have been well and truly inserted at that moment in time. And the fact that this amount of land was given up straight away, and I say given up with meaning, is you can't physically take over that kind of land when you're actively engaging in fierce combat, and the two sides are actually willfully trying to defend themselves and fight for land. The battle is going to be intense if both sides want it enough. But the fact that this amount of blue's been taken within the space of a day, you can be ferocious, but you can't be that ferocious to move that quick. So it tells me that although Ukraine was ferocious and coordinated with their attacks, there had to be something lacking. But for Russia, had to be something lacking. And what was lacking was evident, all right, in the news articles. And what we've been, second guessing over the past few months is kind of came true. The backbone, the spine, the morale of the Russian soldier is gone. All right, we're not talking about reservists here as well. We're talking about, fully fledged soldiers, some of them with time served under their belt in active conflicts, getting the hell out of there because they just haven't got it. They don't want it. The opposition is too much for them. And, they're probably thinking 6 months in, we were told that this was a special operation, that we're going to be in and out, shaking it all about, so to speak. And, here we are with the scenario of Russian troops just falling back and giving up land and giving up their munitions and kit and equipment in the processes, guys. All right, let's not be fooled. That's what's been happening here. Believe I've missed some. What have you got here? Super chat. I don't know if I've been missing super chat question, guys, but if I have, I apologize. Oh, there we go. Victor Garul, hey, as always, Victor Garul, man. Thank you very much for your super chat. Hope all is well, Ryan. All is well, Victor. Hope you're good, buddy. And thank you for being a member for 6 months now. Incredible, man. So yeah, we're talking about. We can talk about war fighting, and I can see how maybe it's the younger guy, and I don't mean to be patronizing because I was that younger guy in the military thinking about, they just must be ferocious and, they've took over because they're superior and extremely professional. When you're in situations like this, yes, the trained man, it serves a better chance of survival, serves a better chance of being able to meet his military objectives. But, the other guy, he doesn't have to be well trained. He doesn't have to be well equipped. But if he's got a good reason to be there, and that reason is deep ingrained into his heart and his mind and his soul, and he's got lived experience to be able to want to be there, you'll be surprised at what that untrained individual can do. All right, they can be very, very ferocious and can be very, very capable indeed. Man, never underestimate the unskilled man if he's got a good enough reason to be there. Unfortunately, in this situation, or fortunately rather, we're seeing the semi-trained individual, i.e. the Russians, haven't got a good reason to be there. And you've got the Ukrainians heavily supported by the West. They've got a reason to be there. They've got a reason to defend their homeland, which is admirable. And that's more useful for them than any skill set. And some of you might disagree with that, but, anyone who's served in the military will understand where I'm coming from there. You just have to look at the kit and equipment that we had in Afghanistan. When you watch back in the archives and cover the war, the Swedish were over there. very well kitted out and equipped, very well trained. Did they have a good reason to be there? Some would say that they had a moral obligation to be there, but in terms of them fighting in their own backyard, their reasons would be very different, okay? Just like the Ukrainians here. United Kingdom, Russia, we had all the kit and equipment, fantastic state-of-the-art training, in my personal opinion, the best in the world. And it gets you so far, it gets you those operational ticks in the boxes, thumbs up, and, you'll take over land and you'll do what you need to do, and you'll do well. You'll suffer casualties, but you'll also give a few casualties out, and you'll meet your objectives, all right? But when we look at the guys who they were fighting against, ill-trained, ill-kitted out, no real money, no real structure, just guys fighting in the home backyard. But for thousands of years, the Afghans have had a reason to fight, all right? And they're fighting on their home turf. It's they're fighting for what they believe in, their culture, their women, their children, their land, okay? And that alone proved, in some cases, more worthy in their defense of their land than actual training, because we tried to train them and it didn't work, all right? But they did all right, considering, if you think about it logically, guys. So that's what I'm trying to get at here. It doesn't matter about kit and equipment. It does, but it's not everything. It's like, I like to use the similarities between, between boxing, for instance, right? Let's think about boxing. Yes, you're not fighting with weapon systems, but you're fighting with your hands. You can have the guy who's been trained national level, fought and represented in the Olympics, won belts. Anthony Joshua, for instance, right? The bigger, better man, scientists behind him, all the best kit and equipment, state of the art, supplements, everything, you name it, he's had it. But when he came up against Alexander Usyk, this smaller guy, he had something to fight for, and he was fighting. He even said this for his brothers and the women in the land of Ukraine. All right, he wasn't physically on the land, but he had been, and that was what he was fighting for. And that's what you've got to be weary of: a man who's got everything to lose, and that's a dangerous man when cornered. All right, and that's what he was fighting for. So forget about the skill set in that situation. You're up against a man who's probably willing to lay his life on the line. Are you prepared to do that? And in many cases, Russia haven't really got a legitimate reason to be there. And don't you think that they don't know that as well? Don't you think that 99% of the troops on the Russian side know that? They know that they shouldn't be there. They know that they don't really support it. When I was in the Marines, not always do you agree with what's happening around you. You just do it because you've been told to. That's me being honest, okay? Not to this extent, granted, but if you don't want to do something deep down, it's very hard to be professional. And for long periods of time, that is. And that's when training comes in. That's when our training helped us a little bit, because we might not agree with the cause, but, our training is kicked in. We're talking about guys who aren't really as good trained. I don't think nowhere near as good as trained as, for instance, Ukrainians or the Great Brits or the United States and other European countries. But yeah, it's deeper than that in this situation, guys. Another super chat that's came through there by Adam Laurie. Thank you very much for that super chat, brother. You're saying, cheers, bud, move forward always. I appreciate that super chat, man. Thank you very much. That's very kind. I'll get a few beers in. Smash that like button, troops. Let's go. If we got 447 wonderful people in the chat, I welcome you to the stream. Thank you very much, guys. It really is a pleasure to have nearly 500 people here. That's incredible. So yeah, moving forward with this map, we can see the counteroffensive is taking pace day by day. The Russians are retreating eastward. In fact, if we look at that point there, is there a prominent place they're at? Borovisk. They've just pushed past the crossroads. Literally the next day, they've pushed all. You can literally see it. They've went all the way, handrailed this road straight to Osnovo near the Oskil River, with the intention probably of getting the hell over there. You can tell that's literally how it's happened. All right, they've been getting pushed back pretty tough, and they thought, listen, let's make a beeline for that river near Kupiansk. We don't want anything to do with this. And this is probably the point in which we saw on the news where they were running for their lives and they were leaving their kit and equipment. You know, that shows you the state of affairs. And then it's downhill from there. We zoom out now because the takeover is humongous at this point. Monumental in this whole war when you look at the pace in which they've took these this land. Phenomenal. And it doesn't really let up either up until in and around this point. Now, they've had an opportunity to, you know, dig in past that river, the Oskil river system, and defend themselves accordingly. Now, what I believe happened here is they pushed through the river system a little bit, because what happened all the way down here, and we've seen it on the north side of the northeast side of Kharkiv and the far east side, right next to this river system. And if I can get my pen up here, bear with me 2 seconds, guys. What we saw happening here, red, was Russia was using strikes, airstrikes, all the way down here. I'm not sure if there was any other artillery systems involved, but they were striking that bit pretty hard. And they were also striking the north side of this pretty hard as well. Wrong one, where is it? There we go. Just put a rectangle on this. We saw the same thing happening across here, all the way across the Russian-Ukraine border. The thing is, which I was a little confused with this whole scenario, was they were striking these areas, okay? But once the lads is already defending these positions in a lot of hard cover, I'm not going to say it's easy to predict where they're coming from, but once you know where they're striking, you just move out that area and you stay the hell out of there until it's over. You know, but a lot of these places were defended anyway, and to what prevail with their striking, even this North Russian-Ukraine border, I still don't really know yet. It wasn't very effective as far as I was concerned. It's not going to suddenly revert to Russia taking over those those areas again, and we actually seen that it didn't take over those areas, so it was quite a pointless exercise. And when you understand that their logistics supply is now cut short to this region, especially from this area, let me get another arrow. So logistically speaking, this is a main hub for logistics to be able to resupply, because what you've got going all the way up the north part is, I believe this is a train track. Very easy to get kit and equipment in there, but it's not going to be happening for Russia on this side of Kupiansk anymore. That's for sure. It's going to be happening in favor for Ukraine. The only real route they've got for resupply, and it would be stupid to resupply here, because this land is potentially going to get overtaken pretty soon, or at least you would like to think it. All right, it's going to be pretty hard to push over that Oskil reservoir, granted, but in terms of resupply, I can't really think where they're going to be getting resupplied from when this whole area is at risk. Bearing in mind how quickly they took over this whole portion, this big portion of land, are they really going to want to be resupplying themselves that close to a front line which could potentially be taken over? I mean, we're seeing on the south there, near Lyman, we've got a new front line effectively. I know this is a front line here, near Borova, but this is a front line more down to nature than down to nurture. When you think about it, you got a big reservoir there, guys. Okay, that's just going to be hard to dictate strategically anyway. So, like I predicted, I says they need to either take the north, which is going to be tough because it's near the Russian border. the option was to take the south, or in my opinion, the safer option, should I put it. But this here is effectively the new front line, all the way down here. And I think we're going to see, movement, but I don't think it's going to be too quick from Russia's part. Now you've got Yampil, you've got Zarichny, you've got these little places here that you would like to think they would defend from. But it all depends on how quick Ukraine wants to push on them. And if they push with the same level of momentum that they're through northeast of Kharkiv, I think they should be able to push these guys back pretty quick. I don't know what they're waiting for. Lyman, yeah, this area allegedly was. So if we look at, we just basically, where did we see that massive? So we've seen this massive. I'll zoom back when we've seen this massive retreat. Right, so this bit here. So this is the point in which all this land was freed up, and then Ukraine pushed on through. But these forces here, all of these forces, the Russian troops, who lost the will to live, lost the will to fight, left all their kit, allegedly a lot of these guys ended up down here. So Lyman is defended by Russians, but it's allegedly full of non-fighters, full of deserters, full of guys who didn't really want to fight in the first place. So this area, I think, is just a matter of time before Ukraine takes them on. But I think we've seen a lull in the battle because Ukraine's probably resupplying themselves. Okay, no movement today. Actually, that's something that I've just noticed near this area. Wow, how have I missed that? Bilohorivka. That's a massive chunk of land there. Right, what are they planning here? Okay. Right, I think what we're seeing here, we're seeing a massive push in land there. Maybe they're trying to secure this eastern side. Right, what's going on with supply routes here then? Is that a train line? Is this line a train line? I think they are. Yeah, I think these are train lines. But it stops there. Right, okay, I see what's going on here. If that is a train line, hear me out just a second. Maybe it's this area and this area in and around there is where they're wanting to control. And they do that by taking the middle. I think we're going to see, have we seen them push right? Yeah, we've seen them push right. So maybe they're going to continue to push right in a separate mini counteroffensive and then bridge this gap off through the middle here. That's going to cut off this train line. If it is a train line, I'm pretty sure it is. It's going to potentially hinder this one, stop and resupply for Russia. That's what could happen. Yeah, I think that's what could happen, potentially. And then if that is the case, what could probably be a potential is, in which I called this the other day, if they secure the whole south flank here, this whole front line, they're just going to probably, if they do take the same level of aggression, push on up and probably force the Russians over their own border, instead of taking the Oskil Reservoir, they're going to probably push them all the way north. That could be a possibility, guys. I think we're seeing, like you say, I'm no military strategist here, but I think we could be seeing a large portion of this southern tip near Lyman, and then they're just going to sweep through, push them north, probably back over the border. Nothing too much happened in Donetsk. And again, we're going to go on to this map after we've spoke about that. It's going to confirm or deny what we've been talking about, guys. And then if you've got any questions, let me know. So this area here, is it this area here? Where are we at? Yeah, it's around, where is it? Where is it? Here we go. This area here, So we spoke about this a few days ago. Russian generals, advisors, Putin, wanting, I don't know what it is about Donetsk, but they're putting a lot of their manpower at this point to that region. And they're doing so with little to no gain in keeping this region. They're putting an awful lot of troops here to fight little mini pointless operations. They're not really gaining much. Granted, they're not really losing much, but it's just carrying on. All right, this is just it hasn't really got no real strategy. They're not really wanting to push forward. They're not really wanting to break through that front line. They're putting all of their troops there. And we mentioned this. It's okay, putting your troops where you want them if there's real intention, but nothing's happening there. It's a stalemate. Instead of deploying all of the troops here into this region to push these guys back, we haven't seen any meaningful pushback yet from Russia in this area. We might have seen, like I say, the odd the missile attacks and stuff that happened here, but there was no follow-up from the troops to even attempt to, capitalize on that. There was no troops pushing forward, breaking over that Moskil reservoir and the rivers in the northern points. There was no real effort like was shown from Ukraine, which tells me a massive story again, guys. Strategically, they're holding on to Donetsk. They're kind of ignoring the elephant in the room in the northeast, just in the north, just saying, forget about it. We're doing all right in Donetsk. Nothing too bad's happening there. We're not gaining or losing too much. So we'll just carry on and pretend and hope that this goes away. But this isn't going away, guys. And I think the military generals are probably looking for a bloody good excuse to get out of the war. And to get out of it without actually having to confront Putin with, we probably should do this, and this, which leads to them inevitably getting the hell out of Ukraine. I think a lot of these things are happening on purpose. It might sound a little crazy, but it wouldn't surprise me if some of the generals start making mistakes on purpose because they don't believe in it themselves and they just want a way out. This has been going on for 6-7 months now. It's a long time, guys, to be making mistakes, drastic mistakes. Don't be fooled by the amount of land that's happened here. I mean, if you think about it, right, if Ukraine took, and they wouldn't be able to take with the same momentum, granted, but if they were to take, hypothetically, the same amount of land in the same amount of time, this war would be over in about 6 weeks if they continued with that momentum, all right, and they were successful. This war would be over in a month, 2 months. If they push them, probably less, because if you're getting smashed with that much aggression from the opposing fighting force, you're probably just going to, retreat and get the hell out of there anyway, and to be able to fight for another day. So yeah, it's very interesting, guys, what's going on. A little bit of a deep state map thing going on there. Let's get into this, but first I'm going to go over some of your questions and whatever's in the chat. Let me read over it and stuff. And I need a drink of water. 600 viewers, guys. Can we get at least 400-500 likes? We need a few likes. I'm growing my beard out. Slightly off topic, so don't think that I'm neglecting my shaving, because I'm not. I'm just growing it out. And I'm Is the sound back on? Sound back on? Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, guys. Right, how long has the sound been off? Muted. Right, where we at? Where we at? Muted. 17. Couple of minutes. We're good. Oh, Spencer. Wow, Spencer Onyxon with the $100. You're muted, mate. Jesus Christ, Spencer. That's a... Wow, I might mute myself more often. Wow, thanks for that, buddy. Jesus, man, that's going to help a lot. Seriously, that's wonderful. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that. That is amazing. Go and follow me on Twitter. That's what we're saying. $100, man. That doesn't happen often, guys. Trust me. I appreciate it as well. Like, in a time when money is scarce and stuff and bills and shit, it costs a lot of money. I appreciate that so much. One of my pet hates is seeing channels get super chats off people and, like, not be grateful. I'll be forever grateful for things like that, because that's a lot of money. Where I come from, that's an insane amount of money. I know we got some, blessed people in the chat who probably have a lot of money, but, one, you deserve it, and two, you're certainly not obliged to give anything, that's for sure. And I don't expect anything. So $100, guys, that's a lot, man. I appreciate that. In fact, I'm going to donate that to a charity, and I'm going to get this charity up now. Actually, before we, I've took a massive hit in views and stuff. People are dropping because I'm not talking about the map, but I'm going to do. Me and a good friend of mine are going to do the 3 peaks in 24 hours in the UK, which is quite a hard thing to do. 3 tallest peaks in the United Kingdom. We're going to do it in less than 24 hours. That's our aim for a charity. It's a soup kitchen, basically. It feeds the homeless. It feeds those who are hungry. So we're going to try and raise some money for them. So that's going to go to them. And I'm going to put a video out separate to that. And I need to start training for it. But I've kept this quiet. You haven't seen any training stuff for a few weeks because I actually broke my foot. True story. I'm going to get the trotters out now, actually. There it is. That is the foot that was broken. That actually hurt doing that. So I've been struggling to walk and stuff and haven't been able to train. So, yeah, I've had a few weeks off the gym. But I need to get ready for that again. But anyway, back to this. Boom. $100, man. Thank you, guys. Smash the like buttons, troops. Let's get it. Okay, so live UA map. This takes a while to update sometimes, okay? But the information on it is fantastic. And I say it takes a minute to update. It updates regular, but it doesn't update with information concurrent to what's going on in live time. Whoa, am I saying things right? Spencer Onyxon. Jesus Christ, man. That's too much money. Thank you for that. Spencer Onyxon says, thanks for inspiring people to do good and push for their dreams since you donated my last super chat. Keep this for your dream. Thank you, buddy. Wow. Let me get the link to this. Let me get the link. Apologies, guys. I'll get the link. I'll be back on this map. I want to get the link to this thing that we're going to be doing, charity. Right, bear with me. Because I was going to actually put it in a separate video. Hopefully you guys can stay around 520. We're going to get back to the map. I'm just trying to get a link to a charitable cause that we that me and my mate are going to be doing. I don't think I'm pretty sure. Right, how do I do this? I'm gonna read something to you guys. I don't think he'd mind. He wouldn't mind. And I'm gonna do this. Hang on, let me show you something. I'm gonna do this because this is quite a sensitive thing, and I'll explain why. So this is the post. I'll keep it private. This is the post in which the charity thing that we're going to be doing. And I don't think he'll mind me giving a little bit more personal information to it, because this is kind of what's behind it all. So he says, have a heart. It will take 30 seconds. Could all my family and friends please give this a share? It's for a great charity. HSEC Security, which is his company, he's trying to build it. Bless him. He's really trying hard as well, this guy. And he needs all the luck he can get. He's had a bit of bad luck over the past few years. We're going to be doing the 3 Peaks Challenge in 24 hours or less. So myself and Ryan Forrest, which is me, have come up with a plan to try and help out these families in need at Christmas time. So we have decided to take on the 3 Peak Challenge in 24 hours in November. And as you can guess, our chosen charity will be Sunderland Community Soup Kitchen. Sometimes these smaller charities get massively underlooked or overlooked, whatever it is. They get forgotten about. Okay, but these guys feed people on a daily basis who are literally starving, haven't got any food or eating, homeless people all the time. So that's the charity. And his aim that he set out is to raise £2,000. This will be split into 2 elements. The first 1,000 will go directly to the charity to pay towards food for Christmas, and the next 1,000 will go towards buying toys for all the children who will then have a present to open on Christmas Day. This is for a great charity. I know times are hard, but no family or child should go without a meal or a present on Christmas Day. I'm going to try and not get tearful about this, but I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. He lost his partner to cancer literally months ago, guys. I knew his partner as well. And here's a man going out of his way to try and raise money for people. Kids, he's got 3 kids. My heart breaks for him because he's a hard-working guy. He's trying to build his business up. He never had really much luck in his life. He's been hit with bad news after bad news, and here he is trying to do something for people. And that's why I generally believe he will succeed in life. I really do. I'm pretty sure he won't mind me saying a few personal notes on that as well. But let me get you this link, guys, because I think it's I hope he and we smash the absolute. I hope we smash through that £2,000. Right. So this is the link. If you do want to donate to that, it's on Just Giving, so it's literally it's legitimate. Bearing in mind his story that I've just told you. Let's smash past that £2,000, man. If you're gonna give anything, give to this tonight. Don't give to me. Give to that link in the chat. If you want, I'd appreciate it. He'd appreciate it. He's had a hard time, man, and here he is wanting to put himself through it. He's a single dad now with 3 kids, and he's wanting to give to people, man. That's awesome, isn't it? And he sometimes watches these streams. He's a good lad, man. Honestly, I worked on the doors with him as a bouncer before I went in the Marines. He stuck with me, training. He trained me for strength. He's the strongest guy I know. He's a good dude, man. So if you do support that, let him know where it came from. I'm going to donate to there now, actually, as well. And let's get back into the stream. But hopefully you understand where I'm coming from, man. Hey, Napalm 420 Death. Good luck on your challenge. Thanks for the content. Have a pint on me, Slavic. Thank you, my friend, for that. Thank you. I'll bang that in there. I'm going to pin it to the top as well. I'm not bothered about my memberships. I want him to smash through his goals. If you could give to that, would be greatly appreciated. Yeah, we've got donations coming through now. Adam Laurie, £40, always hey, there you go, man. Make sure you quote where you've came from, guys. So that's the only brownie points I want. That's the only brownie points I want. Thank you, guys. Anyway, let's get back into this then. So yeah. Okay, here we go. Thanks for sticking with that, troops. I know it's off topic, and you guys have a lot of things that you need to be doing. I appreciate you, man. Tyler Davis super chat. Wow, Spencer Onyxons give so much for your cause for the children in soup kitchens. Thank you, brother. Tyler Davis, apologies, my friend. Greetings from the other side of the pond. US Marine here, been out since 2014. Was in the big push against the Taliban 2012. Loved your content. Let me buy a beer someday. Jesus Christ, what? 200? That's insane. Marine, thank you for your service. The big push in 2012, it was indeed. I had friends out there at the time. I wasn't there. I can't pretend to be of your cloth. Thank you for your service, brother. 2012, man. Wow. I hope you're doing well in life, and I hope life is giving you everything that you could possibly have, man. $200 is a lot of money. Jesus, I'm humbled, man. Thank you, guys. I think that's everyone. I'm not too sure. Chris Bonner, get it right. Thank you, dude. Tyler Davis, 200. Jesus Christ, that's phenomenal. 200. Sleep not, Dit Commando. Probably is an abstract question. Do you admit that Ukraine troops will be able to return Crimea by military means without sufficient damage to the Crimea bridge? No, I think to do something as big as that, collateral is always going to happen. That's going to be tough. I've just read something there. Bremer's Ghost says you never had black pudding on your breakfast. I look, you got to have black pudding on your breakfast, man. Jerry Gambon, good morning from a Brit living in the Philippines. I've got family in the Philippines. Good stuff, man. Right, back to action, guys. Sorry, there's sometimes them super chats take me by surprise, knock me off a bit in a good way, but crazy. You know, so I see like channels like Dr. Disrespect getting 20, 30,000 a stream, and they don't even flinch. Don't even flinch. Oh, man. Right, so map time. Thank you, guys. You're awesome, man. Smash that like button, troops. 500 viewers. You're all great. Let's get it. Okay, so let's start with this bad boy. What's happening here? 6 hours ago, Ukrainian presidency. Any referendum held in Ukraine on joining Russia will destroy any chance of talks between Kiev and Moscow. What are they talking about there? Any referendum held in Ukraine on joining Russia? Nah. Right, that's okay. What's that? 5 hours ago, Russian army shelled or body village of Sumy region. Russian army. So that was 5 hours ago. So they're still hitting that northern flank. But the thing is, what's to what? Yeah, is a window damaged? I mean, yeah, there is damage there. But these are just regular people's homes getting destroyed, man. Northern flank again. President, as an international community, we are obligated not to let anyone in the 21st century consciously and cynically introduce, like Stalin in the 1930s, an artificial hunger in the name of achieving his potential goals. Yeah, quite prominent words there from Duda. I can't pronounce his first name. But these words are cheap. I know it's strong in the intention, but they're cheap in the sense that, yeah, okay, you said it now, but it's not going to change anything. How are we going to change the political decision making of people as big as Putin? We the people, unless we're not changing nothing, man. We're not changing nothing. 2 minutes ago, okay, 7 missiles launched toward Kharkiv, reports of hits in Kharkiv region. This isn't the video, but okay, that's not good. That's not good at all. 6 hours ago, 7 people killed, including 3 children in shelling in the Donetsk region. That's not good. That's not good at all, man. So that's the northern part there. Moving into the central-ish regions, explosions were audible there. No pictures or anything. Explosions near Dnipro city, possible due to air defense. So the Russians haven't really been smashing themselves with air. Sorry, I'm just getting messages through. Haven't really been using the air capability as much since they've been getting hammered by Ukraine. That's one thing that many people thought, the Russians would be really hammering home, is the air capability, but we haven't seen that to the extent of recent, nowhere near what was predicted. Mr. 556, 45 mil. If Ukraine strikes inside of Russian territory, do you believe this will obligate CSTO members to join the war? I don't think so, no, because I know, in short, I don't think that will. And I don't think they will strike inside Russian territory. Ukraine doesn't want that. It's not, they don't want that. That's not their... I know what you're thinking, because I was thinking that before, the north border, they've actually, the counteroffensive, they took a lot of land back, well, let's hit them where it hurts type thing, but that just makes this whole thing draw out even longer than needs be. I don't think that, no. Good question though, buddy, thank you. What else we got here then? Explosions reported there. These are probably just the similar things. Russian army shells. Right, what's going on here? Rish in those regions, blah, blah, blah. Can't read that. Right, that's all the same stuff. So we've got like a massive... What's on this? There's a river system there. Possibly for logistics and stuff, I'm guessing. Boatyards, storage facilities, factories, maybe. I mean, this is all across this river. So I think, yeah, it's got to be logistical reasons, hasn't it? That's what I think. Where there's rivers, there's boats. Where there's boats and rivers, there's trains and roads and major factories and, your transportation of goods effectively. So I think that's what's going on here, personally. Could be wrong. What do you guys think? They've hit them hard there. One of the settlements of the Marganets community of the Nikopol district of that region was shelled by Russian troops with Grad MLRS. Pretty busy along here. But yeah, that's a bit of a map study on that. I mean, nothing too crazy compared to what we've seen. Let's get into the Russian... this is pretty good, the Institute Study of War. I'm going to go straight into the key points and let's talk about that. So the key takeaways from yesterday. Obviously, it's a day behind. Sometimes it keeps up with the day. Now, the urgent discussions on the 19th yesterday among Russia's proxies of the need for Russia to immediately annex Luhansk and Donetsk Oblast, much of the latter of which are not under Russian control, suggests that Ukraine's ongoing northern counteroffensive is panicking proxy forces and some Kremlin decision makers. You better believe it's panicking them. The proxy forces don't want nothing to do with that, yeah, right? And the Kremlin decision makers, yeah, they were shocked by how much land was taken in such a quick period of time. Now, Ukrainian counteroffensive successes are degrading morale among Russian units that were regarded as elite prior to the invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainian counteroffensive successes are degrading morale among Russian units that were regarded as elite prior to the invasion of Ukraine. Ooh, so that tells a story. That could possibly be on about, well, you know, maybe the Spetsnaz and other. Look, there was loads of talk, rhetoric back and forth when I was in the military about, the Russians, this, that, and the other. But the guys who served 20, 30 years and some even longer, some of my old mates were always saying, look, the barks were always bigger than the bite. And they're not as good as what they said they were. They've just got the sheer numbers. I like to compare it to America. The United States, however, there's one key difference. They're not just big in stature, but they're all bloody really well trained. Like, really, really well. They're based off similar doctrine, what trains, NATO, United Kingdom. We were the blueprint for all of this stuff. They've just pumped loads of money and loads of people into the mix. So there's a lot going on, guys, in America. Russia's like the version of that, where the training isn't to the same standard. We've got guys who are kitted out in the same regiments in the east of Russia in fantastic bits of kit, and then the other guys in the same regiment on the west are kitted out in World War II trench coats. It's mental, man. Itchy nose. Ukrainian forces are likely continuing limited and localized offensive operations across the Oskil Reservoir / river and along the Lyman line. They are going to continue limited and localized offenses. What that tells me, that bit of information, is they're not going to want to push as hard as they have done to take the whole of that area in the first place. They are limited to localized offensive skirmish missions anyway, especially along the Oskil River, due to the nature of the feature at hand. Okay, you've only got one way or two ways or three ways within 20-30 kilometers to get across there, unless you're going to be doing river crossings on boats and stuff. Highly unlikely. They're going to be taking main features, which are roads and stuff. In order to do that, I want you to picture yourself now. You're at the beginning of that bridge. It might be, 100 meters long, for instance. At the end of that bridge, you've got someone with, at the very least, a rifle aimed at your head, and you maneuver across there, and you're going to take casualties. So these things have to be prepared. They're most likely going to be operations that occur at night. You're going to have at least mortars involved. Probably it's beneficial to have artillery involved to be able to destroy the entire grid square off the map before you even begin to think about moving in. Then you're going to want to put your mortars in the area, precise areas where you believe enemy activity is taking place. Then you're going to want armored divisions to move across to be able to get cover from the incoming fire that may or may not happen as a result of the offensive. And then you're going to get your infantry groups, mechanized infantries, pushing on through to clear up. Okay, this is quite a major thing for even the small areas. Okay, so yeah, you can't just steamroll over, is the point I'm making, guys. That's the point I'm making. Russian forces continue ground attacks south of Bakhmut. Ukrainian forces are continuing to strike Russian military transportation and logistic assets in Kherson. All right, I've missed a few things. Spencer Onyxon, member for 6 months. Wow, thank you for your membership. Putin, you say? Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree. Thank you for your membership, man, for 6 months. We've got a lot. These members, it's getting to the point now where our members are being around for such a long time. I wonder who the longest serving member is, actually. I think it's... can't remember the name. It'll come to me. Spencer Onyxon again with the 50. Jesus, mate, you must... What, Spencer, if you don't mind me asking, what job do you do? You don't have to answer that, by the way. But you're either extreme... Well, yeah. That's a lot. That's an awful lot of money, dude. Stephen Stewart Murica. Wow. Thank you, man. That's quite a privilege right there. AR-10 Osiris, former Navy SEAL here. Hello from the USA. Navy SEALs. I've got to be honest with you guys. If I was in America, born and raised, having lived, having had the experience and understanding of what it's like to be a Royal Marine, what route would I take? I would be very, very tempted to go two initial routes. One of which would be the US Marines, clearly, with the absolute intention of being like a raider or more specialized recon Marine. That would be pretty cool. But a joint to that, not even second place, joint to that, possibly even tipping that, I would have loved to have tried out for SEAL training with the intention of potentially going a little bit further. But I would have been quite happy being a raider, a recon, or a SEAL. I would have been. But the Green Berets, that's one thing that I would be. If I've earned the British one, I wouldn't mind earning the United States one. But that's a pretty tough ask. That's for sure. Chris Frederick, I see you as a Ranger. I know one or two guys who've done Ranger, the Ranger qualification, who are both Royal Marines. Actually, say no more on that. But yeah, that's that, troops. Where we at? Sorry. Ukrainian and Russian sources identified 3 areas of kinetic activity on September 19th, northwest of Kherson City, near Ukrainian bridgehead over the Inuit River, and northern Kherson Oblast near Orline. The size of volunteer units Russia can generate is likely decreasing. This is what I wanted to get into. Talking about Russian will to fight and everything else. There's real evidence coming out stating that not only are their, this is obvious, their regular fighting force numbers dwindling drastically. We knew about a month ago there was talks about North Korea supplying potentially 100,000 of their soldiers. It hasn't materialized logistically. It would have blew Russia's brains. The logistics has just been way too much. But 3, you're looking at their reservist forces, and they're putting their reservist forces in situations where reservists shouldn't really be put in. Okay, at least with the support fully from regular units. But then you look at their proxy forces, and then you look at the fact that they're going to prisons to get prisoners, to sign on the dotted line, and we'll release you if you fight for us. That's mental. There's real evidence coming out now to say that, they just haven't got anyone. Okay? And there's some really interesting stuff coming out. I'm actually going to search for this article now. Right, let me find this for you. This is pretty interesting, guys. I was reading it earlier. Here we go. Right, mobilization and force generation efforts. This is interesting, guys. Russian objective to expand combat power without conducting general mobilization, i.e., unless I'm reading it wrong, I believe they mean national service. I might be reading that wrong, though. Someone in the chat could let me know. The effective size of volunteer units Russia can generate is likely decreasing. Republic of North Ossetia Alania head Sergei blah blah announced the formation of a new combined volunteer detachment on September 19th. They said that the detachment will be primarily made up of reservists and combat veterans. reservists and veterans. So reservists, not really doing too much. No disrespect. I've been a reservist at one point in my life as well as full-time, okay? So there's no shame. But they're a different animal to the full-timers, okay? Still fantastic, but a different animal. Combat veterans. Guys, as much as I want to think that when I put this on, I will turn into a steely-eyed dealer of death and destruction, the reality of it is I have been out, for a few years now, and the regular trained infanteer would probably be a lot more on point than me, although I would be easily retrained back into it, and that time frame wouldn't be long at all. It's still a time frame nonetheless. Physically, mentally, spiritually, you are not quite the man you used to be. And I admit that would be the case for me. So reservists and combat veterans is almost like Dad's, like Dad's army. Okay, not going to be too effective, although effective if you've got the right cause to fight. Have they got the right cause to fight? Going back on that morality issue I was speaking of about half an hour ago, I don't think so. That some of the detachment is already in training and that the detachment will be fully formed by the end of September to deploy to Ukraine. Not a lot of time to train, guys, okay? Detachments vary in size but are by definition smaller than the volunteer battalions that Russian regions originally organized. A Russian military blogger separately claimed on September the 19th that an unnamed combined company from the that deployed to Donbass after completing training in Murmansk. Russian forces have used steady, smaller echelons as their main tactic units, moving from battalions to companies and in some cases platoons, dramatically reducing the company power the new units bring. So that tells a story massively that they're trying to think of other ways to form bodies of men outside of their main generation efforts, okay? Mobilizing irregular units of men, but we're not talking about mobilizing irregular units of specialist men. We're talking about the mobilization of irregular units of men, compromising of reservists and combat veterans, or military veterans of that. So that's crazy. And even the formation structure doesn't look the same. It doesn't look the same in this way. You've got irregular forces, reservists and veterans together. And instead of having a company strength of them, i.e. 100-ish men, you might have a platoon size, which is 20, 30 men, maybe it's a little bit more. So not just the manpower, it's the type of man and the manpower within that strength that's been mobilized. So they're looking very different, not because they've come up with this great idea of it being a fantastic idea to do it and it's got great strategical value. It's quite simply this. They haven't got the numbers to form regular company strength, regular company strengths, and they haven't got the right person to be able to fit into those positions within that company. So there's two problems with that, and it doesn't end well. That's that, really, guys. But if you've got any other questions, we are coming up to midnight here in the UK. I am on with Operator Starsky tomorrow. That's going to be fantastic. First time speaking to him properly. So go tune into his channel. What I might do is do a premiere and then do a live redirect onto his premiere so you guys can just follow suit. If you like these updates, what I might do is a weekly update. I was doing like a daily live update, and I think it was a bit too much. All right, a bit too much for the lives. I'm going to continue to do daily updates. You guys like them. Maybe it's a weekly reaction video to something military-ish. And then maybe it's a weekly update video midweek or so, or depending on how pertinent the information that's coming out is. And if you want that, then let me know. If you could share this content far and wide. There's 505-ish people in the chat at this moment in time. And I'm telling you right now, the most important thing you can do to help this channel to grow and get thousands of numbers of people watching is to share this content. There's some guys in this, I guarantee you there'll be a lot of people here who are in military groups on Facebook, on Twitter, who have got friends who are on Discords, you name it. use the guys who can get this channel and get it skyrocketed. So if you can do that for me, I may never ever meet you in person, but you know, we can always chat on here, and I just say thank you if you're going to do that. I really appreciate it. But most importantly, thank you to everyone for stopping by. You guys are super appreciate. I appreciate you so much, and especially to the kind donations in terms of super chat. Spencer Oniskin again with the $20 has been extremely generous. He also donated to the charity which is just above us. Please go and give that a read. It's in the chat link. If we can smash that target, quote Dit Commando or whatever you want, just so we know where it came from. And we will be doing that. I'm going to actually, if you want to see me vlog that whole experience of us doing the charity event, which is the 3 peaks in 24 hours, I'll take my camera and I'll vlog the whole thing. Spencer Oniskin, great positivity, right? Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Dit Commando, Jimmy P. Check out Speak the Truth channel if you haven't already. He's awesome. Lives here in Texas and actually sent a doc crew over to Ukraine. You know, he's the greatest guy who what he does on his channel is phenomenal, and I'm humble enough to appreciate that I could never be as good as him. He's just fantastic at what he does, and I'm very much a big fan of his. Hopefully he continues to do what he does. Send love his way from me. Yeah, you want me to do the vlog? I'll do some vlogs. 500 plus likes, good work. Hey Don, thank you, brother. Good to see you here, man. But yeah, guys, that's it. Thank you for stopping by. Drop a comment below after the videos get uploaded, and I'll see you in the next one, troops. Thank you very much, and be positive, guys. All right, we need more positivity in the world. And you look, think about this, right? There's 500 of you guys in the chat right now. Message each other, all right? Leave, you know, just be good to each other, man. Okay. Peace.